I am on a mission to beat Ragnaros and craft his hammers Sulfuras. However, there is one big catch. I have to only use gear and items that I craft myself. Using 4 characters, we use as many professions as we can to increase our chances of survival. Last week, we reached level 16 on our warrior and level 10 on the rest of our characters, allowing us to craft better gear and consumables. This week was a little different. This week we had a couple of goals. Reach level 20, level up our professions and our druid, and run the Deadmines together with fellow guildies. We start off on our warrior, and first meet up with Medic, who has been grinding, shall we say. We also check our guild, and holy, we were currently at 42 members. Our guild chat was lively and it was a sight to see. Joining us at Stormwind is the big bad We also get recognized by this level 35 druid, who sits with us at our campfire as Medic opens up his mithril trunks. Medic opens up all the trunks and gets some pieces of gear and some resources, but nothing extremely rare. Anyways, after showing us all 4 of his characters which were at level 20, we check out Fritz's rogue's gear, and goddamn, it is so cool to see so many more people getting into this challenge. And to think that this is his first time ever playing vanilla WoW, it was honestly beyond respectable. Hats off to you, Fritz. A couple of hours later, we hop back on our warrior and fly to Telsamar, and once there, we log off at DN and log in on our druid. We finally reached Darnassus, and after checking the alchemy vendor, we see a great rage potion recipe for sale. So we quickly yoink that, and craft a couple of potions for our warrior. Since we had so much rested XP and the Onyxia buff, we were ready to grind some levels on this bad boy. Sending them over, we hop back on our warrior. Here's where my sleep deprivation kicks in. I decide that I could clear out the right side of Loch Madan, and after one fight, I quickly decide that this is not going to happen. But on the bright side, we ding level 17, and then I decide to try and walk to the wetlands.
Don't wetlands run and die?
Would you believe that I'm currently at the wetlands gate?
Oh poop. Need an escort.
Nah, I should be fine. If it looks sketchy, I'm just gonna Hearthstone out of there. Looks sketchy, I'm Hearthstoning out of there. Okay, so in retrospect, I feel like Medic has cameras set up all around Azeroth, cause the fact that he texted me right as I entered there is beyond crazy. However, I remain grateful. After meeting up with him in Stormwind and me begging for a portal, a mage decides to help me out, which I later found out it was through a monetary compensation from Medic's Salt. By the way, yes, this is his 5th character. Now, as I said, I can't take any handouts, but this was not necessarily a handout, so I will let it slide. Plus, I really need to quest in Darkshore. I was completely lost on what to do, please don't judge me. I decide to be scenic and take the boat to Darkshore and pick up every single quest there. I did not care if it was grey, I did not care if I was over leveled, I just wanted to quest. So we spent our time killing striders and crawlers, capturing rabid thistlebears, and setting the guild message of the day, which was really cool. After turning in some more quests, we head back out and kill some Blackwood Windtalkers and Pathfinders. We also get encouraging messages from fellow guildies, which makes us absolutely lock in. And after getting all of the kills necessary, we turn in the quests and restart the recording. Now this is something that I can only illustrate and prove with Discord messages sent in general chat. Around 1 hour of footage was corrupted. The following is a representation of what happened. We kept doing more quests and ended up in the northern part of Darkshore. We had to kill these crawlers for their meat, and they for some reason hit incredibly hard. We were also mining ores that we found around, because our next pieces of gear would need to be bronze gear. I decided to get the turtle remains and pull a murloc. I kited back, used demo shout, and I have no clue what could have happened. I could have been dead, or maybe I was alive, I had no clue. Surely this wouldn't be the end, right? Surely all those hours grinding all those characters wouldn't be wasted into a power outage. I sat there, spiraling and spiraling. 30 minutes later, the power came back on, and we were dead. I'm just kidding, but I am not gonna lie, I was terrified. We log in on our warrior and we are completely fine. I was so shaky that I even forgot to turn on the recording at the beginning when I relogged. So that's why you see me on the road in this clip. And yes, in that 1 hour of footage, I also lost me dinging 18. The file is sadly fully corrupt and there is nothing I can do to bring the footage back, but I would much rather lose 1 hour of footage than 40 hours of gameplay. However, I was still terrified, so instead of continuing leveling on our warrior, I decided to level our druid for a bit. There were a lot of comments saying that druid is bad until level 10. But after that, it becomes much easier, especially once you get bear form. So that was our goal for today. Get the bear form and see if druid is actually that good. I also read in the comments that I should be using raft to pull and then moonfire and melee. So I decided to give it a try, and my god, it's just so much better. I get that most of my mistakes come from my personal ignorance, and your guys' helpful comments have been the only reason that I have made it this far. So thank you. We end up killing a bunch of harpies, turn in the quest in Darnassus, and venture back out. I take a bit of a detour so I can also pick up some more herbs, because leveling alchemy would be really important for the Deadmines. Heading over to Denalen, we turn in some quests and finally reach level 10. This unlocks our class quest, which would eventually allow us to use bear form. And so I run straight to our druid trainer in Darnassus. After accepting the quest, we get an ability that allows us to teleport straight to Moonglade. Speaking with Dendroid Starblaze has us going to the Greater Bear Spirit. And this is exactly why I love vanilla World of Warcraft. These quests were made with love and with care. Having to go to Moonglade to speak with the bear spirit so you can unlock the bear form is peak game design, and you cannot tell me otherwise. It's really immersive and fits in really well with the whole theme of druids. We then fly back to Darnassus and speak with Mathringil, who gives us the quest Body and Heart, which sends us over to Darkshore at the Moonkin encampment. Usually going to complete this quest at level 10 can mean certain death, and has been the reasons why many druids died early on. Even though I'm majorly untalented, unskilled, and generally bad at this video game, I decide that my fate will be different. We can easily take care of the level 12 Moonkins, but there was a level 13 Moonkin holding the entrance of the cave where we were supposed to enter. The first attempt was, don't worry about it. The second attempt though, it was perfect. After inspecting the stone, Lunaclaw spawns in, and this name mob was literally easier than the level 13 Moonkin guarding the entrance. After talking with her spirit, we complete the quest and visit our druid trainer one last time, who finally teaches us how to use the bear form. I was honestly so proud of myself at this moment. Not only did I get to level 10, I did my bear quest at level 10 and managed to live to tell the tale. This also reminds me that since I'm now level 18 on the warrior, I would need to train some warrior abilities. So we fly back to Darnassus. We end up training Disarm, rank 2 of Thunderclap, and Revenge. We skip Shield Block and Shield Slam because, well, we don't have a shield, and we can't even craft one. As you can see, we also upgraded our add-ons thanks to Leve, who is a seasoned warrior main. We install Weapon Swing Timer, some weak auras, classic bestiary, and what's training. Weapon Swing Timer shows us how long left until we swing our weapon and how long until the enemy swings their weapon. The weak aura reminds us to use Battle Shout. Classic bestiary tells us what abilities enemy mobs have. This is especially important against mobs that have Execute or Thrash. And what's training simply lets us know what we can train at which level and how much it costs. This helps us plan ahead. We also download Atlas Loot, which, unbeknownst to me, also shows recipes for every profession. Also really helpful for planning ahead. Now back on our druid, using the herbs that we gathered while leveling to level 10, we send over 2 minor defense potions, 2 strength potions, and 2 weak troll's blood potions. We hop back on, pick up our little supply crate, and venture back into Darkshore, where, while on call with Leve, I try some warrior tech. This one in particular is called Hamstring Kiting. And I suck at it, I hate it, I don't get it. We then dive underwater and kill some murlocs in order to open the Silver Dawning's lockbox. After which we get taught some more vanilla spaghetti code tech. Did you know, if you tick Enable Interact key and set a keybind, and after spending 5 to 10 minutes looking for the right spot, you can loot the chest outside of the ship? Neither did I. Thank you, Leve. You are an absolute Chad. I know you guys haven't met him yet, but I haven't seen him in-game. He has died on 2 hunters so far and he was leveling his 3rd while I was doing this. Anyways, we head back to where I previously had the power outage and loot the goddamn turtle remains. This time without any issues. I also very swiftly decide that I will not be doing the Den Mother quest because the cubs around her can stun lock you and you can die very quickly. Now with a relatively full quest log, we head back to Aberdeen and turn in some more quests. We are so close to 19. Venturing back out, we are greeted with a rare mob named Flagelmerk the Cruel, who gives us a nice little tunic that we will eventually disenchant. More total remains, we skip Murtkeep. It's 3 AM, there's no one clearing ads, I don't wanna die. Kill Moonstalker sires for their pelts, and finally turn in the absent-minded prospector and reach level 19. This is my talent tree so far, by the way, for whoever asked for it. More turtle remains. And that was the last one, because these ones look impossible to me, and I'd rather not risk it with the water. But we head back to grinding Moonstalkers, and without paying attention, I pull a Matriarch, which has her own little pup, meaning that every Matriarch would be a chain pull and a 2v1. Without any world buzz, this is basically impossible on Warrior, even with the huge level gap. So instead, we keep killing sires and finally get the last belt that we need. Back at Aberdeen, we turn in the quest and we were now level 19 with 4.5 bars of XP already completed. We wait for the boat to the wetlands, grab the flight path, and use our Hearthstone to go back to Stormwind. If you're enjoying this video so far, make sure to like and subscribe, it means the world to me. Now back to the video. The following day we logged back in. We had a lot of goals for this week because we wanted to reach level 20, we wanted to craft our first pieces of bronze gear, and we also wanted to complete the Deadmines. So we head on over to the Dwarven District and craft 4 silver rods. One of these will be sent over to our priest, since our priest needs these rods for enchanting. We then smelt all of our copper into bars and all of our tin into tin bars, totaling 22 bronze bars. With this, the first upgrade I wanted to craft was the rough bronze leggings. These leggings give plus 5 stamina and plus 4 spirit, whereas our ruined copper pants gave plus 2 strength and plus 2 stamina. Spirit is an amazing stat for warriors, and no, I am not joking. Spirit has you regen health way quicker, which helps you immensely when you spend 2/3 of your questing time sitting. After depositing some items into our bank and freeing up some backspace, we pick up all the quests for the Deadmines and fly to Lakeshire and start questing. The first quest being finding Hillary's necklace. And after a while of searching around, we finally find it and give it back to her. Next up was Foreman Oslo's tools, and here's how that went. Why are they hitting that hard, Blizzard? Just why? This is actually one of the perfect examples on why I hate Redridge as a zone. The mobs here hit really hard, and even with all the potions and battle shout, we still barely survived. And this isn't just with the Murlocs, gnolls can ruin your day too. Every mob here can ruin your day. Not to mention the big boar roaming around as well. Anyways, we get out and kill some gore tusks, gnolls, whelps, and tarantulas for an incredibly long time. Considering that every fight we are at half health, the downtime between mob pulls was starting to get to me. But we persevered, and after turning in those quests, we were over halfway done with level 19, bringing us even closer to level 20. Heading back out, we had to kill a couple more gnolls, and then focus our efforts on condors. We even tried our hands at taking care of the Blackrock grunts, however, looking at my damage and the damage I was taking, I decided to leave this for later. And no, I am not doing the Murloc Thing quest. I will never do that quest on a warrior, especially not when they hyperspawn constantly. I would honestly rather grind boars and Elven again than fight the Murlocs of Redridge. I learned my lessons from the first one. After killing more condors, gnolls, and whelps, we harfed back to Stormwind again. After a very tasty burger in real life, we log back in and sell all of our render trash to the innkeeper, quickly stopping by the bank to make a withdrawal of some fish. Yes, the same fish we fished up ages ago. And we flew right back to Lakeshire and straight back at the condors, because tough condor meat has a very rewarding drop rate. We also finally killed the last mongrel that we needed for our quest, and after turning in all of the quests, we finally reach level 20. And we also get the recipe for the Redridge goulash. Here I should note that Medic's alt, who was a warlock, died the day before. And this man, powered by nothing but sheer will, grinded his brand new warlock up to level 20 before I got level 20. Needless to say, this is why I will never, ever in my life make a bet with Medic, because this guy is on something else. But also, I did have a shit-eating grin when I woke up that morning and found out his warlock died. That smile wiped right off my face when I saw him at level 19 when I logged in, but that's besides the point. I then decided it would be best to walk down to Darkshire to pick up the flight path and turn in another quest. Lucky for us, the abomination was not present in Darkshire to ruin our day, so overall the trip was really smooth and we were able to get back to Lakeshire safely. Turning this quest in, we decided it's finally time to find the Westfall Messenger. Let me take y'all back, man! Do you remember when Classic Hardcore was at the peak of its hype? All of Moonbrook was constantly cleared, and the horde of players standing around waiting for him to respawn so they can tag him? Man, I miss seeing that. I also miss it because why am I running around Westfall at 6 PM and not a single person is in sight? What's more, I couldn't even find him. Like, anywhere. I went up inside the cave in the north, however, he wasn't even there. I finally go back to his spawn point and literally 2 minutes later, he spawned right there and I was able to grab the letter from his dead body. Heading back to Sentinel Hill, I decided to try the escort. I previously saw some players in Moonbrook, so I thought maybe they'd stick around and keep clearing the Defias for their quest. Oh, how wrong I was. As we enter Moonbrook, 2 mobs get aggroed because of him. I grab aggro from him before they attack him, and this man keeps walking. He keeps walking straight into another Defias looter and a pillager, at which point I decide I will leave this quest for a later date. Before heading back to Stormwind, we decide to grab some more copper ore because we needed to level our blacksmithing in order to craft some more gear. And the piece of gear that we decide to craft right now is the rough bronze boots. Back at the bank, we deposit more items and clear up more of our bag space. To think that every piece of gear we are wearing came from our own hands is absolutely crazy to me. I honestly think that this is by far the best way to immerse yourself in vanilla World of Warcraft. I personally love it. I then head back over to Redridge, where I wanted to mine some more tin in order to craft more bronze bars for better gear. However, we did not have the power to do this just yet. So I decided to head back to Stormwind because a guildie let me know that the Onyxia buff would drop at 7:45 server time. So in the meantime, I decided to go back on my druid. I had 2 goals for my druid at this time. One was to fully finish Teldrassil, especially the cave quest that I skipped before I got the bear form. And secondly was to get an ungodly amounts of herbs. This would be a necessary preparation step for our guild Deadmines run. After crafting a couple of potions, we venture back out and get over to Dolanar. We take the more inconvenient route so we can test out bear form damage and survivability, and also to get more herbs. And to every person that commented that bear druid is where it gets really good, you guys were so right. I had such a hard time convincing myself not to continue playing that I even missed the world buff. Now back at Dolanar, we finally pick the quests back up and head over to the first cave close by. And it was so much easier. Granted, the beginning of the cave was cleared out, but even the name mob was really easy to kill. We dropped down to 109 health, but with rejuvenation and healing touch, we were back up to max health and easily finished the ad. After turning in that quest, we head to the Banathil Barrow Den, and thankfully some other players were there as well, meaning that clearing this out would be an absolute breeze. 20 whole minutes later, we were finally able to get out of the cave with all of the quests completed. At this point another Onyxia buff was dropping, so I quickly relogged back to my warrior and went straight back to the druid. I legitimately cannot explain how good druid felt. I see why Soda Poppin mains this. I haven't even unlocked Feral and I'm enjoying myself way more. We ended up completing every single quest that we could in Darnassus, and back in Darnassus, we turn in another quest and reach level 12. I then head on over to the alchemy trainer and check the vendor. And to my surprise, there was a free action potion, or FAP for short, for sale, and at just 18 silver. I instantly bought that, and then spent some time leveling up our alchemy and crafting some potions for our warrior's upcoming dungeon run. We reached level 80 in alchemy, and then log in on our warrior to transfer over some of the materials and silver to our druid. From fishing, we got quite a few oily blackmouths, which returned into blackmouth oil. However, what we really wanted to get was lesser healing potions. These potions restore way more health compared to the health plus that we were using before, and would be very necessary in case our healer goes or we need a quick OMFG heal. However, they require Briarthorn, an herb that is not found in Teldrassil but rather in Darkshore. Sadly, during my quick relogs, one of our members, Carr, passed away on their druid. F for Carr. Apparently he was trying to do the druid quest, yes, the same one that I was doing to get my bear form. However, he sadly succumbed to the higher level mobs. Now at Darkshore, I don't pick up a single quest so that I can mentally stop myself from playing more druid, and just focus on Briarthorn. After it was all said and done, we were able to grab 6 whole Briarthorns, and decide that this would be enough. Back at Darnassus, we send our warrior 5 lesser healing potions, 5 elixirs of lion strength, 5 minor defense potions, 4 weak troll's bloods, and finally 5 elixirs of minor fortitude. Now at this point, the only food that I had unlocked that would give me +6 stamina and +6 spirit is the Red Ridge Goulash, for which we need crisp spider meat and condor meat. The condor meat drop rates were as rewarding as ever, taking me over 15 minutes to get just 4 pieces. Granted, this area was contested by hunters who I imagine had to kill the condors for the quest as well, and after another 15 minutes, we grabbed 4 pieces of crisp spider meat and harfed back to Stormwind. We cook up the goulash and we end up with 4, meaning that for 1 whole hour, we are set on really good food buffs. We also craft some anti-venom and a lot of wool bandages. We were now fully prepared for the Deadmines. We had our sharpening stone, our normal food, our food buff, all of our potions, bandages, and even anti-venom. This is basically as prepared as we can be for level 20. The following day we log back in. Medic tells us that the Spirit of Zandalar world buff is dropping. This world buff grants plus 10% movement speed and increases all of our stats by 15% for 2 hours. This buff is also commonly referred to as the ZG buff, so that's why we'll be calling it from now on. After accepting a summon from his alt summoning aid, we are in Booty Bay. Now as I said, I don't take any handouts, but when the lives of 3 other CraftedLocked characters are at stake, we have to be as prepared as possible as a guild. While I was here, I also picked up the flight path, and in the crowd I noticed something reminiscent of a Stormwind guard. And that's when I saw it. The Imperial plate set. This would 100% be the set that I would love to craft in the future. It actually looks insanely cool. After we grab ZG, we harf back to Stormwind where the same guild dropped the Onyxia buff. So we are now full on world buffs and ready to rip and tear through the Deadmines. We also really quickly clear out our bags and make sure that we have enough space to get all of that juicy loot. As a celebration for reaching 5,000 subscribers on this channel, I want to do something special with you guys. These videos and this channel would not exist without you. So on the 9th of October, at 12 EST, 18 CEST, we will be doing a level 1 Hogger raid, where we create fresh new tunes and march down to Hogger, doing our best to take him down. This event will take place on the Hardcore Anniversary Soulseeker realm. If you can't make it to the event, don't worry, because I will be live streaming the whole event here on YouTube. So make sure to tune in. I honestly don't know what to say apart from thank you for all of the support you guys have shown me. I love you guys. Meet the group. Leve, our warrior main tank. He has a lot of experience tanking in Vanilla WoW and had just spent all night getting to level 20 and crafting his gear. Keep this in mind. Medic, our priest healer. What more can I say about Medic that I haven't yet said? This man has had his priest at level 20 for a whole week waiting for all of us to catch up to him. He was also really geared and brought a lot of consumables. Ostane, our paladin DPS. This should be noted as Fritz's paladin, since his rogue died tragically the same day we met. I am honestly an omen of bad luck. He was supposed to be the tank for our group in case Leve was not able to reach level 20. However, he ended up as a DPS. A paladin in your group is always good. They bring great buffs, they can off-heal, and they have Hammer of Justice, which we would be utilizing in our run to make our lives way easier. Mage YOLO, our DPS mage. It should be noted that this is the only non-crafted locked toon in our group, meaning that he would not need any recipes. Mages bring amazing utility to dungeon runs, both with their Frost Novas and their Sheeps. Since he was level 20, he can also decurse us. This would be very important for the undead part of the Defias hideout, where you can get cursed for 200 damage. And then Saki SSF, me, the DPS warrior. My job wasn't just to pump, it was also to pick up any mobs that Leve would not be able to, so essentially I was a DPS half tank. Everyone was ready, all with high hopes and in great spirits. We fly over to the Sentinel Hill. Now with my fellow guildies, this was way easier and we could actually get the run started. It should be noted that we were all in voice chat, making sure to communicate our efforts really well. Also cracking jokes for like pretty much 90% of the time. We entered the Defias hideout and slowly start clearing. We cleared all the way to the undead side, and sadly at that time there was another group doing the same quest as us. And in order to not die to hyperspawns, we decided it's best to first do the dungeon and then grab this quest after we were done. That is, if we survive. I also grab a tin vein. All it took was a full dungeon group. We finally entered the Deadmines. Oh, how I've missed this dungeon. We pull well, applying Demo Shout and Thunderclap to the packs. Sadly, Leve did not have the Onyxia buff, so me ripping Threat would be pretty likely. We also previously discussed loot, so it would go round robin, and for veins, only people who could hit the vein would hit it round robin as well. We methodically clear out all of the bags leading to Rockzor. And after waiting for him to path to the front, we face pull him. Hehehe, I'm second on DPS. And no, we're not counting the mage, he's using fire spells, it's not fair. Now we decide to head back and clear the patrol. After every boss you kill, you will have a new patrol spawning behind you, which will eventually catch up to your group and ruin your day. So it is imperative that we do not forget about them. Clearing further into the dungeon, we reach the master room. This room can be pretty hard if you are not careful. These goblins throw axes which make you fall on the ground, and there's a few of them that patrol around the room. After clearing out the whole room, it was time to fight Sneed and his shredder. Safe to say we absolutely shred him, and Medic didn't even use up much of his mana either. Since we are CraftedLocked characters, we don't really have any real use for the items dropped, apart from this enchanting and selling it for silver. But what is really important is the XP you can get from the quests and from the dungeon itself, which is the main reason why we are all here. Reaching the Goblin Foundry, we take it slower. See, the engineers can spawn adds and the craftsmen can melt our armor, making us take even more damage. Even though I was warned about this repeatedly by Medic, I kept forgetting to move away from their cast. I have to say, this is like a pre-stuff, like this is not even my fault. After clearing out the trash bags, we finally reach Gilnid, and after killing him, I reached level 21. And honestly, I have to take a moment. This has been the single most well-ran instance of Deadmines that I have ever been a part of. Levi and me kept up aggro on us, picking up mobs that the other was not able to pick up. Medic never let us go down to low health. Mage Yolo almost never ripped threat from us, and Fritz kept our buffs up, did good damage, and off-healed whenever it was necessary. Overall, it was the absolute best run I have ever done, and I wanted to take this moment to thank everybody involved. Going back for patrol, 10. Clearing trash. Here we had a pretty big pull. We somehow ended up pulling 4 pirates. YOLO Mage instantly went for a sheep on the furthest pirate, and Live and I grabbed aggro on these mobs, focusing the pirates first. The next bag drops a recipe for the Hillman's belt. Now this is an insane belt, and since we cannot craft any new belts, I think in the future we will craft this belt for our warrior as well as our rogue and druid. We then wait a little bit for everybody to get back on mana, and everyone started fishing apart from me, because I put my fishing rod in the bank. Joke's on them though, they only got butt snappers, so ha! Anyways, it was finally time to pull Mr. Smite. After dealing with the Defias Black Guards, we focus our damage on Mr. Smite himself. And you know how I mentioned Hammer of Justice is something we would utilize? Well, if you use it on Mr. Smite before he drops below 55% health, you skip the stun phase and you are able to keep DPSing while he still goes for the chest, making the fight even easier. Man, I love Vanilla Spaghetti Code and the fact that the vanilla community has found these small things that boost our quality of life. With Mr. Smite down, we head on over to Cookie. We quickly dispose of him and then continue clearing, where this happened. I could shed a tear with how well we handled the situation, and with how well everybody played their role to perfection. It was now time to deal with Captain Greenskin, and this was an easy slapfest. Sheep ad, kill other ad, kill sheep ad, and then kill the captain. Now it was time for the main event. Edwin Van Cleef himself. Here we immediately focus down the ads, and you can use the Hammer of Justice tech on this boss as well, which stops his ad summoning, making it a 5v1 for the rest of the fight. With the well-timed Hodge from Fritz, we slay Edwin Van Cleef and have a nice rest by the campfire, clearing the Deadmines once and for all. We then head back to the Sentinel Hill to vendor some trash, and now it was time to lock in and grind these undead. Okay, so maybe we didn't fully lock in, but we got all of our quests done and we were able to get out of the dungeon alive. Heading back to Sentinel Hill, we finally turn in all of our quests, and we reached level 22 with half a bar of XP away from a level up. 5 hours after completing the Deadmines, I hopped on a call with Levi, who was still up grinding trying to get some quests done. He then decided to grab a tin vein that was in the Blackrock encampment. However, this turned out to be the biggest mistake he could do. He got netted in place by a netter, and then a patrol came upon him. As he was about to get away, he got netted again, ensuring his death. What is even worse is that before this, he had 2 hunters that died, and now his highest level character, his warrior, passed away. So we decided to start brand new characters together for a bit. since from this I learned just how important engineering really could be, with bombs, dummies, and much more utility that the warrior would desperately need. What's more is that in the future we can either choose armorsmith or weaponsmith, and so I decided. Say hello to Saki Pala, my paladin. This paladin will be our miner and armorsmith, meaning that we would drop our mining skill on our warrior and pick up engineering instead, to improve our survivability on our least survivable class. You can catch this, more dungeons, and much more on next Saturday's episode. Thank you all so much for your support, and I'll see you next Saturday.